Welcome to 100 5-minute meals. So we're going to take a look at our ingredient list and then we're going to come back here to the stove. Okay, so you're going to need some ingredients to make an etouffee. It's actually kind of simple, but you may need to go to the store to get some of these. All gumbo, etouffee, all of these Cajun recipes start with what they call the Holy Trinity. That's onions, celery, and bell pepper. In addition, I've got some green onions, which I'm going to use primarily as a garnish. Garlic, in this case, I'm just using some store-bought minced garlic. Some Cajun spice, if that's what you want to put in. Cayenne pepper, I like my food a little spicy. I don't have paprika, and I couldn't find any at the store, but I did have the seafood seasoning, which has quite a bit of paprika in it. Some salt. These are some shrimp shells that I have left over from the last time I got fresh shrimp. And I'm going to boil these and make a stock to add to the roux after I've made the roux. To make the roux, we need equal parts oil and all-purpose flour. Now, I'm using avocado oil. I like it for roux because it has one of the highest smoke points of any cooking oil. In addition to these things, I'm going to use some bay leaf and a little thyme. And of course, the one thing you need for your shrimp etouffee is some shrimp. I just bought these at the farmer's market yesterday. They are wild-caught shrimp from the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. They didn't come with shells, but luckily for me, I had these shrimp shells saved from the last time I had fresh shrimp, and I'm going to use them to make a stock. So before I get started on the etouffee, I'm going to make some rice, and I'm doing this the way my grandmother showed me. Don't have to really measure anything. You put in the rice in the pot. In this case, it's about a cup, and then water, 1 finger joint over the top of the rice. I've added a little bit of oil. We're going to bring this to a boil, then lower the heat to low, cover it, and let it go for about 30-35 minutes. Should be absolutely perfect. So to this little bit of butter that I put in the pan, I'm going to add my Holy Trinity, the onions, green pepper, and celery. And I'm just going to stir fry them until they're wilted. Okay, so I have pre-made my rice. It's just about ready. I took my Holy Trinity and I sauteed it in a little bit of butter. I'm just going to add a little extra taste. I now have my oil is preheated, and we're going to start the roux. And once we start this roux, we can't stop. We're right here until we finish. And we're going to go until I get the color that I want, which is going to be kind of a reddish brown. And when I add the stock to that, it will turn it a little bit more golden brown. And that's the color I want for my roux. All right. Now we do not stop. All right. I'm going to turn this heat down now. It's pretty hot. And you keep stirring because if you stop, that flour will settle on the bottom and burn. And at that point, you just throw it away and start over. So we'll just stay right here. We'll speed this up in post, of course. But we're just going to stir our oil, equal parts oil and flour, all-purpose flour. I'm using avocado oil because it has a very high smoke point. And when we're making a roux, we get very hot oil. I'm trying to remember the name of the chef that used to always be drinking on set. Many years ago, if I was doing this when I was in college, making up a party etouffee or gumbo for my friends, I would undoubtedly have had a bottle of beer standing by. And, you know, etouffee is a stew, right? Gumbo is a stew, smothered. So when I finish putting this together today, I'm going to put it aside, and then when it's time for dinner, I'm going to do some vegetables, maybe a salad, maybe roast broccoli, and try and make the meal a little healthier by having some fresh vegetables in it, because as tasty as this is, etouffee isn't the healthiest dish. I'm using avocado oil, and avocado oil is definitely a beneficial oil, but I don't know how that holds up when you've cooked the hell out of it with the flour. Now, I'm using a wooden spatula here to do this for two reasons. One, the wood is not going to be affected by the very hot oil. And secondly, this is a non-stick pan, and I don't want to scratch it up with a metal utensil. So the color I'm going for here is a reddish brown. Now, this is the exact same roux that I would make for a gumbo, but if I was making a gumbo, I would go until it was a really dark brown. For the gumbo, I want a darker color. For the etouffee, I'll get this to a reddish brown, and once I add some of that shrimp stock to it, it should lighten it to more of a golden brown. And that's the color I'm looking for my etouffee. Now this roux is taking me a little bit longer than some of the YouTube videos might suggest to you. I found that to get a dark roux takes me about 25 minutes. This should wind up being about 15 minutes maybe to get to the color I want. Once it does start to turn color, it moves faster. I don't like to turn up the heat too much because I don't want to burn my flour. I'm just trying to brown it. This is my stock that I made with those shrimp shells, and man, you got to add some kind of a decent stock. If you have to get store-bought fish stock or even chicken stock, you're going to want something to help with the flavoring. Starting to turn a little color now. So my channel is 100 5-minute meals, and that's mostly what I eat, right? Food that I cook up in a very short period of time, very healthy, easy, keeps me from going out to restaurants. It's cheaper, it's healthier. But once if you start doing that, you get more comfortable in your kitchen. You start to gather some better utensils to cook your food up. At this point now, I have the microwave, things that I cook stovetop. I've got a electric double-sided grill. I've got an air fryer, and yeah, we use all of those things. And you can make a meal more complicated. I like to fix up really nice dinners when I have friends over. Now you could stop here, but I think that this would be too light. We're going to go just a few more minutes here and get it to that nice reddish brown. I'd like to make a gumbo for this channel, and it's possible you can just make a roux gumbo, especially with seafood. A lot of Cajun cooks, chefs use only a roux for the gumbo. really like okra. And both the roux and the okra are thickeners for what's essentially a stew. I've just had a lot of trouble getting fresh okra here in Costa Rica. Once or twice I've been able to do it, and I made a gumbo. I just didn't commit it to camera. But we'll find some again at some point and make probably a chicken and okra gumbo. That was what my grandmother was famous for. She won many a contest at the fair with her chicken and okra gumbo. Oh yeah, now we're starting to get it. And when I add this stock, you have to be really careful. It is going to splatter. I should have my apron on. And I may take the time to put on a glove here when I do this. Okay, now we're getting the color I want. You know, if I was back in the States, back in Texas or Louisiana, I would undoubtedly be using crawfish for this etouffee. Just get a different flavor. There's a lot of, you can buy them live and boil them yourself and then dress them yourself. Especially in Louisiana, you can get these vacuum sealed packets with the crawfish tails and the fat from the head. And it's that fat from the head of the crawfish that really adds the flavor. We're using the shrimp stock and that little bit of butter that I used to saute the Holy Trinity vegetables for our flavor. All right, it's time. I'm going to turn this heat off and I'm going to put a glove on. This could definitely splatter a bit. I want to be careful with that. All right, here we go. Obviously, you have to keep stirring again, because that flour will definitely burn if you let it go to the bottom of the pan and stay there. And let's now add the sauteed veggies. That's these. Oh, since my GoPro died, I'll show you this. It really did come out to a gumbo darkness. Okay, to this we're going to add some thyme. We're going to add our spices. This contains some paprika. This is a Cajun spice, red pepper, black pepper, salt. I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne pepper. Not too much, mind you, because guests may not want it that hot. Add just a little more of that stock. It's really thickened up nicely. A little salt. I don't like to put too much salt on my food while I'm cooking. A lesser amount of salt added at the table does the same job. Now we're going to add our shrimp. Get a little heat back on this burner. So I added a little more stock to this. Make the gravy a little more liquidy, and wound up getting the color that I really wanted to get. So when I serve tonight for my friends, this is going to just be perfect. So as you can see, the etouffee came out great. I did have to add that extra half cup of stock to give the gravy a better consistency. And when I did that, I got the color I was looking for, this golden brown color. On the plate here, I've added some tomatoes for some color. And the rice, using my grandmother's way of doing it, which is just to put whatever amount of rice you want in the pot. This was about a cup. Fill with water to 1 knuckle above the top of the rice, bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer for about 30 minutes. I always add a little bit of oil to it, which helps it bind, not stick to the pot, and I think it just comes out a little better. But the rice came out perfect. So let's take a little taste. Let me see if I need a little salt. No, I don't. You could add salt, but I don't think it's necessary. It's got just a little bit of bite to it from the cayenne pepper, but it's absolutely delicious. Let's take a taste with the shrimp, some rice, and the gravy. Mm. The shrimp is really good. It was very fresh at the farmer's market. It is cooked to perfection. So this is a true, authentic Cajun etouffee, using essentially my grandmother's recipe. So thanks, Grandma. If you like this video and others from 105-Minute Meals, please subscribe. Hit the like button and hit the bell button so that you get notifications when we come out with new videos. Pura vida from Costa Rica.